Hey gamers, it's K-Wing here. How's everybody doing tonight? This is review number 77, StarTropics, and my wife is here yet again to do another co-op review with me.
Hi everyone, don't forget that K-Wing Reviews will be moving to game trailers September 1st.
Okay folks, you know the drill. It's time for the story of StarTropics.
A helicopter makes its approach to Sea Island, where inside an eager young man is looking forward to spending time with his uncle, who is studying the local islands. However, bad news awaits the high schooler, for his uncle has gone missing.
The chief of Sea Island asks the boy to find the good doctor. This vacation has turned into a grand adventure, chock full of danger and thrills galore. Will this boy be able to find his uncle and uncover the mystery of the islands? Or is he doomed to fail? Play the game to find out. Concept for this game. The whole point of this game is to find your uncle and stop the evil alien known as Zoda.
So you have to stop the aliens and save the world.
Yup, is it just me or do those aliens look a lot like Zaku's? It's uncanny. Anyway, players take on the role of Mike, a teenage star pitcher who is at the right place at the wrong time. Now, StarTropics borrows a few elements from The Legend of Zelda.
Like what?
Well, the overworld top-down view is almost identical.
Except for some differences, right?
No, it's virtually the same game except different sprites. Instead of a raft, you have a mini-sub, for instance.
Ooh, I like exploring in the yellow submarine. So what about the dungeons? Is that different than Zelda?
Sort of. Actually, now that I think of it, it's like Zelda 2, at least the 2D side-scrolling levels.
But the way Mike moves is very different than Zelda 2.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like an early third-person view type game.
The dungeons are like one big puzzle, too, that requires the player to jump and move in a way that's different. The dungeons also require a lot of thinking. People seem to forget that. Controls for this game.
Okay, this is for the Wiimote controls. You can see that we're going to pause the game, and we're going to select the magic mirror. There we go. Now, in order to attack, you want to press the 1 button. Since we have the mirror equipped, we'll be able to deflect the enemy's attacks. Still, you can attack on your own when using the mirror. They have to throw something at you in order to throw it right back at them. Now that the wizard's defeated, we need to select a close-range weapon. The Yo-Yo of Death works perfectly, but as you can see, its range is very limited. And you use that by just pressing the 1 button. After pressing select, you can choose another weapon, and the bolo fits perfectly for ranged weapons.
Jumping is done with your 2 button, and most of the time you can only find hidden stuff while you're jumping. See, there, Mike just found a hidden item. Now, on to magic items. Now, you have to pause to use these items. The easiest way to select them is using the command cross. Then you use your 1 button to use it. Some gamers don't know how to use these magic items. You have to pause the game, remember that. This is very helpful in using potions you have found too. And you look so cute when he pauses. Time for the design for this game. For the most part, this game seems really repetitive because all the early dungeons look the same.
They could have at least changed the colors a bit.
I agree. The further you get, the more challenging the dungeons get. They add disappearing blocks. Sometimes the players get a little different scenery, but it doesn't last long. The lava levels are located deep under some dungeons.
You're forgetting about one dungeon that's very unique and tough too. This dungeon is insanely fun because you have collapsing floors, tons of hard-to-dodge booby traps, and it looks a lot different than most dungeons you've encountered. Which, I like this dungeon a lot. It even has spikes coming out of the floor, Indiana Jones boulders, you name it.
But after that awesome dungeon, you are back to the same old green floors and water dungeons, which is sad. The overworld makes you feel like you're exploring an island paradise too, and the one time you get to go underwater is pretty.
Really, it reminds me of Turtles on NES. If the player makes it to the alien ship, it looks drastically different than the boring dungeons of old. I had a blast playing these later levels. I also liked how cool it looked when Mike would teleport.
That does look pretty cool. I never made it that far because this game is really hard.
Yeah, this game is pretty difficult, but you feel pretty proud of yourself when you beat the game and get a score of over 80,000 points.
Show off. Well, the bosses in this game deserve an honorable mention too. I liked how cool the fight looked with the serpent, but I never made it past that octopus boss.
Well, the trick is to use the snowman, honey. Now, I thought the Ghost boss and the Magma boss were pretty cool for early bosses. Still, the best looking bosses are later in the game, like this fight against the aliens, or the fight against that thing that looked like a Zentradi officer pod, except green. Still, I think the Zoda fight wins hands down. Well, at least the first time you fight him anyway. Oh man, I died there. Whoops. Alright, time for the history for this game. StarTropics released on December 1st in 1990. Now, many gamers thought that it looked remarkably like The Legend of Zelda, but played far differently. This game was not released in Japan either, even though the game was created by many Japanese programmers working for Nintendo of America in the 90s. Pretty weird, huh? Gamers remember this game mainly for the secret letter that came with the game that was needed to complete the game. Talk about feeling connected to the game, huh?
But if you didn't have the letter, you were in big trouble. Internet was a few years away.
Yeah, but Nintendo Power did post the code a few times.
When this game came to the Virtual Console last January, the letter was included with the game. I thought that was pretty neat of Nintendo to do that.
StarTropics did get a sequel called StarTropics 2 Zoda's Revenge, but the game didn't release for the Super Nintendo. It came out for the aged-old NES, and that was untimely a poor decision by Nintendo of America, and it killed off the StarTropics franchise. Zoda's Revenge was all about time travel, long before Chrono Trigger too. During Brawl's development, Mike was considered by Nintendo of America to be a possible character for Super Smash Bros., but since Mike hadn't appeared in Japan, he was not considered by Sora Ltd.
Mike would have been awesome too.
Agreed. Camelot 2 was rumored to be working on StarTropics 3 for the Nintendo Wii, but this turned out to be a rumor since nothing happened at this year's E3.
It would be nice to see a new StarTropics game.
Fear not, hun, at least new gamers can embark on Mike's first quest. Alright, moving on to the bad aspect.
Whenever you die, you have to start the level completely over.
Now, I personally hated the evil monkeys. They got on my nerves no matter what, stupid monkeys.
Yeah, those monkeys were really evil.
I mean, it was like had the Wizard of Oz getup, but they just touch you and you die.
Most of the boss fights were really hard. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah, I think the first few bosses can give people a hard time if you don't know how to beat them. Still, bosses like this were really dumb, and I didn't like it.
Still, most gamers' pet peeves involved talking to the villagers.
Yeah, that does get annoying, especially if the player already knows how to beat the stage.
Yeah, you have to go all the way back and find which villager you forgot to talk to.
Alright, time for the good aspect.
The story, the music,
and the yo-yo upgrades. Talk about fun. If you struggled in this game, then you're going to love upgrading your yo-yo.
upgrades?
Yes, you get two. I love the Nova upgrade because your weapon travels all the way to the end of the screen. Booyah!
This game also has fun quests and hidden hearts too.
Mike also has cool secondary weapons like ray guns and baseball gear. Who knew that wearing cleats could make a person superhuman? Too bad these weapons only appear in the first dungeon. It's a real shame. Well, StarTropics is a wonderful game, but it's not for everyone. It's very challenging, and I do like it a lot.
It's a very hard game. You will die a lot. We give it an 8 out of 10.
The next review will be Wave Race 64 and the final K-Wing YouTube review. Well, God bless and happy gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.